Good afternoon, everybody. It's the pollinator. And I have been so squirrely since I got back from Costa Rica. Haven't been wanting to make a video. Have just been doing my own thing. My sleep pattern is all goofed up. That isn't because of my trip. And I owe everybody a video about that trip. But what I really came on here today to talk about, and I'm dressed up in full force fashion, cuffs, everything, because I want to honor a man that a lot of people are talking a lot of crap about right now, which is who is Kevin Samuels. You know, it's really weird because his death, he died of a heart attack, and his death hit me almost harder than my own father. And why? Because for me, oh, and by the way, I'm going to have to talk loud or something because I can't find my mic. I don't know where I put it. It's around here somewhere. So for me, from the first couple of videos I saw of him, now the first one I saw, my homie pointed him out to me. He said, "You got to watch this guy," and I said, "Okay," because we feed each other videos of men we should watch, and then we feed the information about what we're watching, what we're practicing, and what we're learning back to another group of men from a group we mastermind in Atlanta. Right now, it's just online. It's a pilot. It's been going on for a year and a couple months. And I've lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. I'm exhausted. I'm very tired right now, but I had to jump on here because I've been just seeing so much nonsense about Kevin Samuels that it just makes me sick. So I'm going to put out my own, and I'm wearing black because I think he was buried today, I think, was the burial. And people are being so cruel and to the memory of him, and his family is watching all of this, and I'm quite sure they're horrified by how cruel people are being, by how mean they're being. And I'm gonna get into this, but it hit me hard. Okay, that was the train of thought I was on. It hit me so hard, and harder than my father, because he was like a father to me. Now, I was not a fan. I just watched him a lot. I was not one of his subscribers. I didn't participate in the live chats that were going on. I observed them, but I didn't participate in them. And, you know, basically because it'll track it back to my channel and realize that I'm a trans man, and I don't need any bullshit said about that. A man is a man is a man. And, you know, and some of us have the genitals of a man. We've had top surgery. We go through a lot to have our body match up to how we feel and what we think. For me, it's what I think more than what I feel. Feelings, I'll leave for women. I don't rely on them because you end up... I don't rely on feelings because feelings aren't facts. They aren't logical. And quite often they have led me to being, excuse me, irrational at times. But see, I started working on that decades ago when I became a public speaker for Landmark Worldwide. But so Kevin, okay, from the moment I saw that guy, now the first video I saw, I went, oh, wait a minute, this guy, he seemed a little effeminate to me. I said, well, what's he gonna have? What is he gonna have to say about and for men? And my buddy said, just watch him. Just watch a few videos. Don't pass judgment. Just watch. And I said, okay. So I watched about 2 or 3 videos, and I called him back it wasn't a panic because I was quite gleeful about it, that I said, bro, this man is like me. And he says, yeah, I know. That's why I wanted you to watch him. I have the same mindset as Kevin Samuels. Sorry, ladies, I do. And I shouldn't even apologize, because we need to stop. His thing was, we need to stop placating to this women's movement that is driving men into the ground, into depression, into a lot of things, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what men want. They don't care what men want. They only care what they want. So this is the power struggle, the power dynamic that is going on very strong in this country, and it's going on even worse in the black community. That is why the black family structure is not as strong as it was when I was growing up. I grew up in the 50s, 60s, and I became a teenager in the 70s. But the family structures back then was a lot less divorce. A lot of families remained married, and it all got busted up by the 70s, when they started offering women money to get rid of the men out of the home, and that was welfare. And if the welfare was paying more than the men were making and bringing home, out they went, because they wouldn't give those women welfare if the man was in the home. This is how white supremacy just totally usurped the black family structure, by doing that and making it look real lucrative to women to get rid of the men in the house. Then it evolved, and it got worse and worse and worse, to where, women are running around telling other women, they're not asking men's opinion, they don't care, but they're asking other women how they should be. They're listening to other women tell them, they should remain single, they don't need no fucking man, they need it. Feminist movement, and for the black family structure, it was wrong. And those of us in my generation know this. But how to put that across to an entire generation that was raised that women had to be strong, women had to be the head of the family, women had to raise the children, the men weren't going to. It's this real battle and struggle right now, where the men are pointing the fingers at the women are pointing the fingers at the men. But men have been driven, their voices have been driven down and out because of this matriarchal system that is seduced by the media, by the government, even holidays. There's total seduction going on, where it's all about the women, it's all about what they want, it's all about me, my. What can I get from you versus what I can give to you? And that has been, in the black family, in the black community, has done more to damage our community than anything else, because, you give a young lady some bad information and she's going to run with it for years, maybe the rest of her life, and not even know it's bad information. She'll fight you to the nail about that information she's been given. Or she just won't be a viable partner for you, because she's just so disagreeable and combative, and masculine energy, and a whole lot of other things that women don't like to hear. These are the things that came out of Kevin Samuels' mouth, and these are the things that are running around in my head before I ran into that man. But he did something that only now, after he passed, men are starting to step forward and say, our voices count and are heard too. You know, yeah, need to be heard. Need to be heard. Because listen, there's a reality in this country, and this is a Western thing, but there's a reality in this country, and that is men make more money, men are the breadwinners, and if you want men to take on the responsibilities and the ownership and the providership and protection of the family unit and women, they better start getting treated better for doing that. And not like it's an obligation that is automatic for every woman in the country. It's not automatic. They have to be bringing something to the table besides their coochie and a smile. Talk about value added. And you know, it's funny, the value added thing, I heard that when I was in my career, and it had more to do with my career in software, but that there was value added software. Well, ladies, you need to be adding value to men, and especially black women who love to tear down black men. The first thing here's keywords, buzzwords that they do that. You're a misogynist. If you don't agree with what they say, you're a misogynist, or you're toxic, or you're hyper masculine, or you're, did I say misogynistic? Misogyny? They will say anything to shut you up, even if you are telling the truth about them. Kevin Samuels was a truth teller. He was a straight shooter. He didn't sugarcoat nothing. And he didn't put up with garbage on his channel. He didn't put up with disrespect. He didn't do those things. And for that reason, all these people, all of these fragile fucking millennials and younger, can't handle that toughness that he was about. He was a tough love man, and I'm a tough love man, and there was just so much about the way he thought and his mentality that I just loved and appreciated. I didn't agree with every single thing he said, but I was a fan, and he was teaching me. I wouldn't have this suit if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't be sitting on like 5, 6 expensive colognes up in there. I wouldn't have done I wouldn't have stopped being a simp. And for people who don't know what a simp is, I mean, you can Google this stuff. It's on the internet. But as a simp is a man who just placates to the woman no matter what. He'll give away all his money. He'll do all sorts of things to gain a woman's favor and not be paying attention to who she is. It's all about who he's being for her. And you know, they'll say anything to gain a woman's favor, but they'll never gain her respect, their respect. She'll never respect you as a simp, because that's it. I won't say it's like being a beta, but it kind of is, a beta male, where you run after women and you do all these things for them instead of them being able to see who you are as a man. Putting up with abuse, putting up with neglect, verbal abuse, physical abuse. See, a lot of men won't admit they are being physically abused by the women that they're with. He also preached marriage. He really wanted the black man and the black woman to be married again. The divorce rate is really high, but it's even higher in the black community. And most of the people that are filing divorces are black women. They're hitting the road for one reason or another. They'll usually blame it on abuse. They'll blame it on all sorts of things. But they're also not being accountable or responsible for their behavior. It's always a man's fault. How many times have you heard that from a bunch of beta males running around as celebrities, as people that a lot of people listen to will tell you, you're always wrong. No, we're not. But see, this man, Kevin Samuels, grounded in me that it was okay to be full out male. I didn't have to hide behind nothing. I didn't have to. There's a bunch of trans men running around that are not embracing their manhood. They're just not. They go with the physical changes and they're done. They don't transition mentally. They don't transition emotionally. They're still running around like I'm not saying they are this. They're not females, but they're acting like females with beards and flat chests and penises. And by the same token, there's a lot of men, cisgender men, that are running around like that. Need to get our shit together. And I don't care about the other communities as much because they're in better shape than we are. Our community is hurting. And it's hurting because there's this constant battle and divide going on and power struggle going on between women and men, black women and men. And Kevin Samuels was out to usurp that. He stuck his butt out on the line, knew he was going to get criticized up in Yin Yang, probably knew he was going to be hated, but as much as he was hated, he had over 1 million subscribers. There weren't 1 million haters subscribing to his channels. There were a 1 million plus people, and that was just YouTube. He was also on Instagram and Facebook. Was he on Facebook? I don't know if he's on Facebook because I don't play around there very much anymore. But a lot of people were getting what he was saying, and a lot of people were being helped by what he was saying. But here comes the Twitter crowd, the cancel culture, the people who can't handle anything, or they're ready to just crucify you. But so let me continue on with his mentality and his train of thought, that it was just so similar to mine, which is that, you know, because we are the breadwinners for the most part, we do bring in more income, we do have a responsibility for family, and for cisgender men, you know, they can give a woman a child, and they need to keep up with their legacy. But then there'll be a whole group of women who will come running out saying that, you know, most black men run away from their families and drop babies all over the place. And well, that may be true, but guess what? They do that because they can do that. You can't do that. Women can't do that. Assigned female at birth people can't do that. They can't have multiple children at the same time. It's biologically not possible. So they mad because of the realities of culture and this world and men's position, and they're so mad and bitter that they're taking it out on us at the same time. You know, shut up. You know, and they don't necessarily say shut up. They say it in their behavior. They say it in shutting you down anytime you have any requirements of them. They don't think they have to do anything. And the women that Kevin Samuels was interviewing a lot of them didn't think they had to do anything besides just show up, can't cook, can't clean, don't look good on your arm, don't keep up with the appearance, don't keep up with themselves, let themselves get flabby and fat, and just all these things that women have convinced themselves is okay now. In fact, if you got a problem with their weight, you're fat shaming. Where did that come from? Where did that fat shaming come from? 50 years ago, that wasn't a word because women weren't getting so much larger than men. Sorry, but there's something to be said about little women. They're pliable, they're fun, you can play them, you can flip them, you can do all sorts of things you can't do with large women. And that don't look good, it's not cute. He told it like it was. And people everywhere are hating him for it. And I keep bumping into shit where people are making channels based on their hatred and their venom of him. Well, if they thought that Kevin Samuels was tough, what are they being? They thought he was cruel. What are they being? In his death, they're talking about a dead man. They're making money off of his death, and they don't give a crap how his family feels. That's evil. That's wrong in most people's Bibles. You don't do that. You don't spit on a dead man's grave, or somebody's going to spit on yours. What goes around comes around. And none of these people seem to be concerned that what they're doing, while they think he was living in sin, what they're doing is sinful too. Now, I don't live by religious doctrine, but I know what these things are because I've had to study people, and all of my adulthood, I have been studying people. From myself first. I don't do it to be judgmental. In fact, a lot of people will tell you I'm about the least judgmental person on the planet. But I'm very stern, I'm very strict, I'm very fair. But don't double cross me or I'll just come off the hook at you. If you do me unfairly and I'm treating you well and you just come out of nowhere and pull some shit, even men in my life will tell you, I will dismiss those motherfuckers in a minute. If they do me wrong, because I'm the type of guy, I'll take the shirt off my back. I'll come fight for you. I will come fight for you. Let me give you an example. And I may have stated this story before, but anyway, there was this woman, this veteran, that checked herself into psych ward. She had a mental breakdown. She was suicidal. And she started putting out messages on Facebook that they were mistreating her. And she's in my area, and I actually knew her. I didn't know her well. I just knew of her. I had seen her around, and I've gone to a few meetings with her. But I jumped in my car immediately and went down there and jacked them motherfuckers up. First, I went to the floor she was on, banged on the door. They opened the door, asked me what I want. I started going off about, you will not mistreat her up here. She came in here for help, and you guys are going to make it worse. What the fuck is going on here? Blam! They slammed the door. So I went down to the patient advocate's office, and I jacked them up. Well, and they started talking about power of attorney. I didn't need no damn power of attorney. I saw it on Facebook, on Fuckerbook, I call that place. And she was crying for help, and not on my watch was they going to do that. So the patient advocate kind of, he's looking at me like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this guy? He's not going to go away. So then I kind of looked at him like, you're really not going to do anything, are you? I said, I'll bring the TV stations in here. I'll jack this place up. Watch. Are you Tim to me? Well, no, sir, I'm not, but I'm just wondering how I can blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay, you know what? Fuck you. I went to the director's office and sat there. By the time I finished with them, they were kissing her ass. How many people you know that will do that for a stranger? How many people you know will stick their neck out for anything anymore? They won't. Most people think and say to themselves, well, it's not my problem. I ain't gonna get involved. That's the street way of being, is don't get involved. And I don't know where I learned it. I don't think I was raised that way, but I just have that kind of compassion and that kind of courage to stick up for my fellow man or woman. Or other shit. I have a lot of opinions about non-binary people, but you know what? If they're in trouble, I'll stick up for them too. I've done it. I've done it on social media. I've done it in articles around the country. I sure did. I did it on the route. So while people did not like his style, I'm sure those that were friends with him and that loved him and what his family members appreciated where that man was coming from. He was very intelligent. He knew where to look. He was intelligent. He was repetitive because women weren't getting it. They're very stubborn right now. They don't want to listen to anybody but them and their girlfriends, who are just going to keep them single. That's what they're doing, is telling them, psst, fuck him, blah, blah, blah. And they're not encouraging the right behavior out of those women to get along with men. They don't care to get along with us. They care to be combative of us, which we are saying, we're tired of that. We're not going to, that's chaos. That doesn't bring peace to an already difficult life. Now, what I'm come to understand is I had no idea. I thought, oh, black women have it just the worst. Oh, no, they don't. I've lived both sides. I've got plenty receipts about the shit that they're doing to me as a black man versus the stuff they did to me as a black female. It's totally different, and I don't want to get into who's got it worse type of thing. But I didn't know black men had it as crazy and as bad as they do. It's even worse for us that people, because they fear us automatically because we're black, that we got to tone it down for people all the time, you know, take the bass out of our voice. I had a lady, every time she saw me, you know what? She saw me on YouTube. She never heard my voice, but she could tell when I was talking, when I was chatting with bass in my voice. And she'd say, take that bass out your voice. And I would just laugh at her. I said, how you know I got bass in my voice? She said, I can just tell. I could tell. So we had a thing going, you know, just on YouTube, where she would tease me all the time, and I tease her back about stuff she is. And then you've got a whole slew of people that think, because of trans people and LGBT, any kind of LGBT, that we're trying to feminize men. There is no such thing. You can't take somebody who isn't feminine already and feminize them as a man. You can't make a trans woman be that way through literature or friends or even parents talking to you. This isn't something you pick out of thin air. It's something that's going on totally inside, and it has nothing to do with external information. Nothing to do with it. I knew I was a boy when I was 6 years old. That didn't come from nowhere. It came from me. Didn't come from the way my father raised me. It came from me. It didn't come from what my parents taught me or told me. It came from me. Didn't come from so fucking education. I could have got that stuff in school, and it still wouldn't have affected me. I came out the way I came out. I came out attracted to who I was attracted to. And I came out with the thoughts that I had. Nobody put them there. But you got these right-wingers that are playing on people's fears and emotions about people who are different, that are telling everybody that this is what we're doing. It's no different than CRT, which is white people running around talking about critical race theory being taught in school when it's not. It's taught in university and colleges with adults that are capable of making up their own mind whether or not that stuff lands for them or it doesn't land for them. But you've got all these hysterical people running around saying, ooh, this is what they're doing. And then you got a bunch of ignorant folks running around going, oh, I guess that is what they're doing. Oh, so we'll be scared. Out of here. What is wrong with people that they can't... Well, you know what? Maybe the fact that ignorance is a pet peeve of mine. I hate that shit because there's no excuse to be ignorant. There's too much information out there. And Google is your friend. You didn't know that. People who don't know things can Google them. Anyway, I got away from Kevin Samuels. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent. But look, that was a strong black man, and he became a father figure for a lot of men and women. He was fixing relationships. There are lots of women that are coming forward saying that, you know what, he fixed my marriage. And there are a lot of men that are just thanking the ground he walked on because he made their women be more easy to be dealt with. Because look, the black woman can be the most difficult creature on the planet. Mouth, sassy, rude, all the stuff that, because of the way that this world has been on us, the black woman is angry. And that's not a trope for you doggone racist types to run around saying that, because you don't understand where you put that shit there. If it wasn't for racism, it wouldn't be there in black woman. See, so don't come off talking about, you know, angry black woman stuff, because black men are angry too for the same reason. You live every day of your life having to see this shit in your own life, on and off all of your life. You'd be angry too. But it's not like we're angry without anything else to our being. It's just we know how to just pop off like that, just culturally through negative stimulation that we've gotten on all of our lives. So, you know, anyway, so Kevin was a strong black man who didn't put up with no shit. And he was looking at the people he was helping. He didn't care about the people that didn't like him. And oh my God, I love that about him, because I'm the same way. There are too many people who love me for exactly who I am, what I have to offer, than not. So I don't care about the people who don't. You know, I went to a seminar when I was becoming a public speaker, and I've said all this strung out in videos in the past on this channel, but that one of the exercises, the forum leader was telling us, you know, you guys are all nervous about talking in front of a crowd, and probably because you'll look at a sea of people out here, and usually our weekends were like 300 people. We were speaking in front of that many people. And he said, y'all are looking out there in the crowd and picking that one person, maybe two, that don't think you're anything. You know, they're looking at their watch. You're looking at that one or two persons when you need to be looking at the other 290 something people who are loving what you're about. That's what I was taught. That's what I live by. I don't give a fuck who doesn't like it. I don't. I know who I am, and I'm grounded in who I am, and I love who I am. That's what I have to offer the world and my children. I got the best compliment in the world the other day. I even told my therapist, and she almost started crying, that I got back from a young lady, one of my daughters. She became my daughter, another daughter, who I kick into this gear and I just lift people up. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. I don't know how I do it, but I'm a very fast thinker and very fast talker, and between my speaking abilities and how fast I think and my obedience to the God of my understanding, I can do that. I can lift somebody literally about the dirt who's getting ready to give up on life and just turn it around for them. I just pick them, lift them up. And at the same time, I'm a tough customer. I'm rough, and they know that. They get scared. She gets scared when I'm angry with her, but she knows how much I love her, and she turned around and said something to me. I'm trying to remember what she said, but it was just a beautiful compliment, and I know I'm doing something right if people like that can appreciate where I'm coming from. It's just too bad that so many people could not handle the truth about anything. They don't want to be told the truth. They want to think, this is just the way I am. A lot of the people that are saying that aren't happy. Yet they're saying, secretly, God, if I could change this, I would. But they don't know how to. Somebody like me comes along and can tell them step by step how to do it. But they can't be resistant. They can't be argumentative. They're the ones without the answers. And it's not that I have answers. I just have a lot of training and a lot of things I've done in my life. And I'm a mature man, and I've studied myself and people all of my adulthood, almost all of it. Almost all of it. And I'm 65. I'll be 65 in a few months. So I loved Kevin Samuels. Not like a fanatic cult love. And there's a lot of people out there that are saying that anybody who believed anything he said was a member of a cult. And people are just so trifling and petty, because I think deep down they're jealous. Of his power and his no-nonsense approach to life. All he thought about was what he could do for the black community. Now, I'm getting this from, and I'm going to throw a link up, I think over here, of one of his friends. I'm going to put a video up of her talking about Kevin. And beautiful, beautiful things that she said. And she said sometimes the stuff that he said felt like shards in her head, felt like she was thinking through broken glass. But see, here's the thing. She knew it was her broken glass. She didn't blame it on him for upsetting her, for challenging her, for pushing her to be the best version of herself every day of her life. She didn't blame him. She understood what he was doing, even though it hurt her feelings to hear the things that he said, the way that he said them. His approach, his delivery, leave that man alone. That man had over 1 million subscribers. Do you know what it takes to be have 1 million subscribers without being a musician, an artist, an entertainer of some sort? That is an accomplishment. That he did it with just himself being himself. Not being an actor, not being a musician, not being a football player, basketball player, baseball player. He did that without being any kind of celebrity like that, and he was a celebrity. There are people that are making up so many lies about him. It's disgusting. You people disgust us that loved him. Have some respect. Have some class. Have something besides what goes on between here and here that's all screwed up in you. Everybody's some level of broken in this country anyway. I don't know about anywhere else. But in this country, everybody is some level of broken. But if you stay in your fucking lane and fix your broken, then you're going to be a lot easier to deal with. Women will end up being marriage material again, because right now they got too much fucking mouth to be marriage material for an average man, let alone high-value man. High-value men aren't going to put up with that. Now, one of the things Kevin said was, if you're making 6-7 figures and you're with a woman that's at least an 8 on the Richter scale, on his scale of 1 to 10, you can't count 7, that you're going to put up with a little bit of attitude from a woman of that stature, but not much. You can't come into a situation, into a relationship, ready to do battle every day. You do that, you're not going to stay married, and you're going to blame it on him and pull out. I wish I could. I need to find my passion for doing videos again. And these are the things I've been thinking all along. You guys just didn't know that this was the kind of man that I am. No, I don't like big, large women. And I don't know who ever came up with that. It's unhealthy for them. It's unhealthy for their heart. They end up with diabetes and all sorts of problems being big, huge women. Lizzo is too big. I don't care what any man says. Maybe, you know, a lot of these men just want to, they'll screw anything, see? And so they're going to go along with that train of thought that says it's okay to weigh twice as much as your man, twice as much as your partner, period. I don't even care if they're men. It is not okay to be as large as women are getting today. It's just not. Especially if you want children. Because you're going to end up packing on weight that you might not be able to get off. Especially the older you are. You know, add 40 pounds. After the baby's born. Then what you're going to do? Just get bigger and bigger and bigger. People don't exercise. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty of this, but, you know, I can get away with it because I'm a smaller guy. But, you know, being in my 60s, it's becoming apparent to me that I need to do that. I got away with it because I was an athlete and, you know, I kept my shape for a long time until I got in my 50s. It started all coming apart. But, but people have gotten shiftless and lazy, and then they want the world to take pity on them because they did. No. You're eating over something, and you're eating too much over something. And whatever that something is, you need to get to the heart of it. That is the first thing I think when a large woman wants to date me is, I want to ask her, what are you eating over? What is it you're not dealing with? The value you're adding to me is emotional, mental, spiritual. And if you're screwed up in those areas, you ain't got nothing to give me. You have very little value to give me. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your degrees. I take care of myself and take care of another woman. Now, I'm not high value anymore, but I am okay. I'm doing more than okay where I'm standing right now. But again, I lost my train of thought about where I was going with that. Women need to believe in men again. Black women need to believe in black men again and stop. They'll treat their boss, their white bosses, especially male, better than they do black men. They're just talking big old trash about us right now because they can, and society says it's okay. It's not okay. And it's not okay to be that way internally. You're going to take that into a relationship with somebody or die alone with a cat or a dog. Those are the kinds of things that Kevin talked about that just resonated with me. It was like, no. And you could, and some people will say, well, you know, it's the same for men. No, it's not. Men are choosing to be alone rather than put up with your mouth. There's a difference between dying alone because you got problems getting along with men or getting along with people than you're going to die alone because you didn't want to put up with people like that. There's a big difference because they'll drag you down. They'll drag your life down. They'll almost destroy you because misery loves company. And those people are miserable. And yeah, they'll drag you down with the ship. I ain't gonna let that happen. Yeah, I'd rather be alone and just date instead of be inside of a relationship with a woman who is hates herself and hates me. Internally, it shows up in their behavior. It shows up in how they talk to you. Shows up in how they treat you. It shows up in what they give to you, the grace, the respect they give to you. It shows up whether they think it doesn't or not. and women aren't being accountable for this behavior. And they're thinking And the fact that they emote, they all come from their feelings, their feelings, their feelings. You know what has made this world? Logic. That is what has made life comfortable for you, ladies. Our logic. STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and math. Men build the infrastructure of the world. You cannot survive without us, but yet you want to treat us like a afterthought. Yeah, you can, because of men, you can. Wasn't that way 50 years ago, but technology has boomed along, and yeah, you can survive by yourself without anybody. You can be a miserable, stuck-up bitch the rest of your life. And might end up homeless because you don't make enough to retire. Yeah. Yeah. What's gonna happen when you can't work no more? Either somebody will set you up where you'll have Social Security the rest of your life, but you know what? That's not a guarantee that that's all gonna be there for some of you young people watching this. It's no guarantee that Social Security will be around for you when you get old, or any kind of disability. Did you know they don't even have that kind of disability in a lot of other countries? They don't even have it. I just talked to a young lady just the other day about that. I talked to, even though I am just like Kevin Samuels, or Kevin Samuels was just like me. He was in his 50s. I'm in my 60s. I'm still a fun, loving, lovable, get along with people, crazy, friendly guy. I talk to people and make them laugh on the phone all the time because I'm just silly. I'll say things off the top of my head that are crazy, and they just love it. Just 2 days ago, this woman said, I could talk to you all night, but I'll get in trouble, so I got to get off the phone. I said, that's okay, ma'am. I don't know what I was saying, but I had her cracking up. I was talking about being older and your memory going. And I was saying, yeah, she was trying to get some information out of me, and I said, I don't know, man. My short-term memory is going. I said, it's going so bad. I get up, go into another room, and stand there. Why did I come in here? And if that's happening to you when you're young, oh my God, just wait. It gets worse. But I'm fun-loving, and people love that about me. But like I said, I have a very serious side, and a side that's very discerning and very picky. I've earned the right to be picky, and I ain't gonna let no woman tell me who I should and should not accept in my life, in my heart, in my head. No. And they don't get to tell me that I have to appreciate this kind of woman, that kind of woman, whatever. This is what Kevin Samuels was about. This is what he preached. Yes, he was talking to heterosexual, cisgender men, but he probably didn't realize he had a lot of other kinds of fans too. Me and my homie, we watch a lot of men because we didn't have fathers who accepted that we were men. So we have to learn this somewhere. So we pick the cream of the crop of the men to watch out there. And I'm not going to say mimic them, because, you have to take in what's part of your personality and what isn't. So you have to be discerning about who you watch and what you're listening to, because some of these guys will have you end up being a dog in a heartbeat. But if you were already a dog to begin with, they'll make you a better dog, okay? Woof. It's all up to us to develop and grow as people. The problem is people aren't growing. They're growing their income, they're growing their wardrobe, they're growing their house structure. They aren't growing. They're dead. They stopped. They think that life is just, that's it. You don't pay attention to yourself. Well, that's not what Kevin preached. That's not what I'm preaching. I'm preaching for you to get inside yourself, to figure it out, to fix it, and to grow every day, each and every way, a little bit, all the time. And if you're not doing that, I'm sorry. If you stop doing that in your 20s, guess how old your emotions are? Cut that in half. At least. Your emotions are still stuck back there as a child, and you're coming off childish. And don't realize you're coming off childish because you stop growing. You stop doing the things that make people grow as adults. It has to be a choice. It has to be a choice. Otherwise, you're going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Period. And for a guy who's on a growth path and is going to be on one the rest of my life, the hell I look like being with somebody who's stuck in the mud and refuses to grow an inch. They got to grow with me, and that's what I'm looking for. That's what I need in my life, and if I don't find it, because modern women are so screwed up, so be it. I don't want that to be the case, but I'm not going to settle either for what I can get, type of thing. No, I don't have to do that. Not today. I used to be like that, but Kevin Samuels helped me undo that shit too. Anyway, Kevin, rest in power, brother. You were the most powerful, one of the most powerful men that I've ever known, that I've ever seen and listened to. I watched tons of his videos. I was driving the guy that turned me on to him crazy because I would say, oh, did you see this video the other day that Kevin said, you know? And I'd come up next week, did you hear the one where and he was like, I'm sure he's saying, man, because I hadn't turned him on to him, he won't stop talking about the guy. But he's not the only guy I talk about. It's just, he was so, I just loved straight shooters. I looked for them when I got clean and sober. I looked for tough love sponsors because I didn't want no Pollyanna that was going to put up with my bullshit, see. I looked for sponsors who were going to pull my covers. I looked for ones that were going to be tough on me because I wanted to get more. I wanted what they had and were willing to go to any length to get it. That is straight out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I took it literally. And I knew in order to do that, I had to pick out people who, for whatever reason, I perceived that they were getting the most out of the program. And those people were the tough ones. So I picked the tough ones, period. Now I'm a tough guy. Now I'm a tough love type of individual. And I love that. And if you don't, it's your problem. That's how Kevin was. That's how I am. And you guys have a blessed rest of your, I don't know what day is this. It's Saturday. It's the weekend. And my heart goes out to Kevin's family. My condolences. You know, I hope you find these channels that are talking good stuff about him, about his content. Because them other folks, they full of shit. They're sad people. They're disgusting. And there's no reason why they should have that much venom going on unless that venom was already there. Kevin just touched something in them that just made that come out. Like they ain't got no damn good sense. Because they don't. I don't even gonna point you at any of their channels. They're full of crap. There's groups on Facebook that are about him, and people just go in there to start the same shit they were trying to start on his channel and couldn't get away with. Because he was just as tough on the men. He started the channel talking to men. And people were fine with that. The minute he switched the focus to women, oh, hell broke loose. Because women don't want to fucking hear. They don't want to listen. They don't want to please men anymore. They want to be pleased. And that's the one-track mind just stuck there. Please me, I don't gotta please you. I'll do it when I feel like it. Well, yeah, so can we. We'll do it when we feel like it. When you've earned it. When your mouth and everything you are complements our personality, complements where we're going, where we can take the relationship. Love y'all. Peace.